This is VOA Africa.
Good evening, I'm Esther Gidhu. It's Tuesday, October 22nd. This is Africa 54. Election fever mounts in Botswana as voters prepare to go to the polls on Wednesday. Mozambique's President Filipe Nyusi is headed for a landslide victory in an election the opposition says has been marred by fraud. And we'll hear from experts on how online digital clinic and telemedicine is impacting families. We begin our broadcast tonight in Southern Africa, where election fever is mounting in Botswana as voters prepare to go to the polls on Wednesday, October 23rd. Former President Khama has formed a breakaway party to run for the presidency because of policy differences with his hand-picked successor, President Mokgweetsi Masisi. And an opposition coalition is also campaigning to form a new government. Mkondisi Dube reports from Gaborone, Botswana.
Botswana, which enjoys relative peace and stability, is pressing for a crucial election on October 23. Botswana's fourth president, Khama, is vigorously campaigning against his successor, President Mokgweetsi Masisi. The two former allies have clashed over policy differences, which led Khama to quit the ruling Botswana Democratic Party, BDP, to form the Botswana Patriotic Front, BPF, in April. While the stakes are high, some voters are still undecided.
My final choice will be based on an individual, not the party. It's the most expensive and exciting one, and I'm really waiting for the day to come so that I'll see where my vote will go.
Khama's influence in the country's central district, a traditional stronghold of the ruling BDP, makes the election too close to call, says analyst Zvanani Maundeni.
It's for the first time that the BDP will be going into an election without a stronghold, and this brings a lot of uncertainty in our politics to the extent that it's difficult to predict what is going to happen.
While analysts predict a close contest, the main opposition party, the Umbrella for Democratic Change, UDC, is also campaigning hard to win on October 23rd. A coalition of three parties, it poses a major threat to the BDP.
We have a split BDP. That gives us a chance, and we are hopeful that we will win these coming elections. People should brace themselves to a new government.
But BDP activist Murakolodi Mwemeli says President Masisi is their trump card at the polls.
Botswana do have trust in Masisi's administration. Ever since he took office, I see so many changes. There'll be chances of losing some seats there, but all in all, I see Masisi winning.
Since assuming office, President Masisi has reversed most of Khama's signature policies, including relaxing alcohol trading hours, lifting a ban on trophy hunting, and restoring relations with China. Mkondisi Dube for VOA News, Gaborone, Botswana.
Mozambique's President Filipe Nyusi was on Tuesday forecast to be heading for a landslide victory in an election that opposition says has been marred by fraud, leaving some voters worried about the future of the country's fragile peace deal. Some polling stations recorded more votes than registered voters in last week's ballot, according to the Electoral Institute for Sustainable Democracy in Africa. Quoting data from 2,500 polling stations, the Electoral Institute said Nyusi may win more than 70% of the vote against 21% from the opposition candidate, Osufu Momade. Though official results have yet to be announced, Momade's former guerrilla movement turned main opposition party, Renamo, has already rejected the outcome, decrying problems in the electoral process. Analysts say that could threaten an historic peace accord signed just moments ago between Momade and Nyusi. At least 30 people died in a bus crash in the Democratic Republic of Congo on Sunday. The accident took place in Congo's central province. The country's highway system is poor and accidents are common while vehicles are often overloaded with passengers. Congo's President Felix Tshisekedi visited survivors on Monday. Anna Bevan reports.
Democratic Republic of Congo President Felix Tshisekedi on Monday met survivors of a bus crash in which at least 30 people were killed. That accident took place in the Congo Central province on Sunday. According to local media, the vehicle, which was carrying fuel, caught fire after hitting an electrical pole. DRC's Minister of Humanitarian Affairs said the medical response was quick.
We
were alerted during the day that there was a deadly accident in Mbanza Ngugu, a vehicle that came from Lufu. There are many dead, around 30, even more. But we came quickly in order to help the injured. We came with 3 ambulances, 3 mobile clinics with doctors.
16 people remain in hospital for treatment. A local administrator attributed the incident to brake failure.
That was Anna Bevan of Reuters reporting. Now, 5 opposition and civil society leaders in Guinea were convicted and sentenced to prison on Monday for organizing protests against a possible change to the constitution that could allow President Alpha Conde to seek a 3rd term. Abdul Rahman Sano, a former government minister and organizer of last week's demonstrations, which resulted in at least 9 deaths, received a 1-year jail term for inciting civil disobedience. 4 other members of the National Front for the Defense of the Constitution, a coalition of politicians and activists opposed to a constitutional change, received 6-month sentences. 3 others were acquitted. Both the defense and the prosecution say they plan to appeal. Tens of thousands of Sudanese demonstrated in Khartoum and other cities on Monday, calling for the former ruling party to be dissolved and for ex-officials to be put on trial. Demonstrators gathered in the Freedom Square, where ousted President Omar al-Bashir held a huge rally in his final months in power, calling for the dissolution of Bashir's National Congress Party and that Bashir-era officials face trial for alleged corruption. A key demand of the rally, called by the Sudanese Professionals Association, was to hold accountable those responsible for a deadly raid on a city near the Defense Ministry on June 3rd. The association spearheaded anti-Bashir demonstrations that led to his ouster. In August, civilian and protest groups, including the military, signed a 3-year power-sharing deal leading to the formation of a sovereign council, the appointment of a transitional government, now led by Abdallah Hamdok. More small-scale farmers in central Kenya have switched from growing food to crops to planting and harvesting an herbal stimulant known locally as mugoka, a variety of the plant cut. The farmers say they now make almost 3 times as much from growing the stimulant instead of food crops. But the local county government wants farmers to create a balance between producing mugoka and food. Raul Ombor reports from Embu, Kenya.
Wilkistan Jerry grows mugoka at her farm in Embu County in central Kenya. She used to farm maize, but mugoka now puts food on her table.
I used 5,000 Kenya shillings to plow. I bought fertilizer worth 3,000 Kenya shillings and 2 bags of maize, one of which cost 700 Kenya shillings. Everything cost me more than 10,000 Kenya shillings, but I did not harvest anything. We got little rain, and that happened for about 2 seasons.
Wilkista cleared her maize and planted mugoka. She now makes an average of 20,000 Kenya shillings, or about $190 a week. Mugoka is a variety of cut that is green and bushy. It is a stimulant that produces a mild high when chewed. The crop is fast-growing and does well in the semi-arid lowlands of Embu County, making it less vulnerable to erratic weather conditions. Farmers with a lot of land used to grow mugoka, but now small-scale farmers are cashing in on the trade.
Oh, they are doing that because it is providing some employment, direct employment to the people that are in Bere region, And also, apart from employment, it is giving easy cash. People can get the money and they instantly when they sell their produce.
Embu's county government says there are now 65,000 farmers growing the crop in the region, making Mogoka one of the highest income earners for the region, apart from coffee and tea. But the county government is urging farmers to create a balance between growing the stimulant and food crops.
So we are giving some free supplies of seed so that we can encourage those farmers to also plant some seed, some food crops that will enhance food security and nutrition. We are also encouraging them to take the advantage of the fertilizer subsidies that we are giving them.
Small-scale Mogoka farmers mainly sell the stimulant in local markets, but the crop is also transported to various parts of the country and is exported to Somalia. Farmers in the lowlands of Embu say despite efforts to boost food crops, the financial benefits of Mogoka outweigh growing food, at least for now. Rael Umbor for VOA News, Embu, Kenya.
In Cameroon's port city of Douala, most used cooking oil from hotels and restaurants was once dumped down the drain where it clogged plumbing systems and caused pollution. A Cameroonian chemist decided to change that. Moki Edwin Kinzeka narrates this report by Anne Nzwankeo.
Cameroonian chemist Martial Gervais Oden-Bella makes soap and detergents by turning a toxic ingredient ecologically friendly.
L'idée de recycler aussi de futuriser nous est venue d'une demande.
The idea of recycling used oil came from a request from a hotel that, as part of its cooking activities, realized that it produced huge quantities of oil. At the time, it was discharged into nature. Concerned to protect the environment, they asked us what we could do with it.
Oden-Bella began collecting used cooking oil in 2014. It's now a business that produces 165 kilograms of soap and 2 tons of liquid detergent per month. Even small businesses like donut makers have joined in recycling their oil.
Before, when I worked, I dumped the oil, but people told me that it's polluting the environment, that they can recycle it, so I don't anymore.
Waste oil clogs up sewers and drains, pollutes the environment, and can harm wildlife. Recycling the oil reduces toxic pollution and creates a new and valued product, says environmental scientist Franz Tafongang.
This type of use is to be greatly encouraged. This used oil is primarily toxic when it is consumed, but valued as a cosmetic, one does not incur any danger.
Biotech's laboratory says Douala hotels alone produce 20,000 liters of waste oil per month. Oden-Bella says there is still too much cooking oil being dumped in Cameroon.
The more people who are trained, the more people will utilize used cooking oils to make soap. And the more we will get to a level where we can really protect the environment from the harmful effects of used oils.
And what better imagery for cleaning up the environment than turning pollution into soap? For Anne Zwanke in Douala, Cameroon, Moki Edwin Kinzeka for VOA News.
We're excited to hear what you think about Africa 54. Join the discussion on Facebook. The address is Africa 54. We're also streaming our broadcast live on Facebook. Please watch and share our show with your friends. Also, check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Still to come, digital clinics and telemedicine. Can they work in Africa? We'll hear from 2 experts. We'll be right back.
French,
English,
Portuguese,
Bantu,
Arabic.
It is the beat.
The African beat that counts.
The beat does all the translations.
It cuts across all languages and gives us the understanding that this is the African beat.
It is so distinct
and adhesive.
It binds us together.
African beat on the Voice of America. For more information, visit our website at www.voanews.com/AfricanBeat.
I am Sheikh Sali, host and senior editor of VOA's international call-in talk show, Straight Talk Africa.
Today we'll examine the tobacco industry.
We pretty much touch on anything that you can think of. Politics, health issues, human rights issues, you name it, we talk about it. The issues that we discuss are pertinent to most people on the African continent. A very, very rare and unique opportunity to interact with their leaders.
To international news now, U.S. forces crossed into Iraq from northeastern Syria Monday, part of the broader withdrawal from the region that was ordered by President Donald Trump ahead of a Turkish incursion. Some analysts say the U.S. retreat from parts of Syria creates a space for countries such as Russia. Russian President Vladimir Putin meets with Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan Tuesday for high-stakes talks on what happens next in Syria. VOA's diplomatic correspondent Cindy Sain has more from Washington.
As a convoy of U.S. troops crossed from northern Syria into Iraq, civilian Kurds hurled potatoes and insults at the retreating forces. Some yelled, "Go, America, liar!" At the White House, President Donald Trump defended the withdrawal. Democrats and Republicans have criticized the move for abandoning longtime U.S. allies, the Kurds, to slaughter by the Turks.
We're working with the Kurds. We have a good relationship with the Kurds. But we never agreed to, protect the Kurds. We fought with them for 3.5 to 4 years. We never agreed to protect the Kurds for the rest of their lives.
The sudden U.S. withdrawal from Syria deals a blow to America's credibility as a reliable ally, say many members of Congress. Analysts agree.
Many around the region, from Saudi Arabia to Israel to Jordan, are looking very closely at U.S. actions with the Kurds, who are our frontline fighters in the challenge to defeat ISIS militarily. And they're taking a big lesson from it and essentially saying, look, America is a country that maybe we can't rely upon anymore.
Other analysts say the main beneficiary of the U.S. retreat is Russia.
If the U.S. withdraws troops and thus reduces its influence in the Middle East, obviously somebody's going to take advantage of that. And it's primarily Russia with this newly resurgent foreign policy under Putin, particularly in the Middle East, that's taking advantage of it.
Turkish President Erdogan is meeting with Russian President Putin in Sochi Tuesday to discuss what the next steps will be in Syria.
The thing I'm interested in seeing in this meeting is whether Putin tries to constrain Erdogan and Turkey in any way.
Turkey and Russia have been cooperating closely in recent months. Turkey's purchase of the Russian S-400 missile system in July angered Washington and raised the prospect of U.S. sanctions on Ankara. Cindy Sain, VOA News, Washington.
Now, with the 5-day ceasefire between Turkish and Kurdish forces in northern Syria set to expire Tuesday night, some fighting is reported to be continuing. VOA's Heather Murdoch reports from Tal Tamar and the outskirts of Ras Al Ain in Syria.
Sporadic fighting has continued despite the ceasefire that was signed Thursday, and there have been reports of deaths and injuries. A convoy of ambulances picked up about 30 people from Ras Al Ain on Saturday and recovered 5 bodies. More than 200,000 people have been displaced since Turkey declared its intention to create a buffer zone and expel the Syrian Democratic Forces, or SDF, which it regards as terrorists. Families here say unless the Turkish-backed Syrian fighters that have occupied Ras Al Ain are out of the city, They will not return home.
If they retreat, of course we will go back. Otherwise, we will have no choice but to stay here where food, water, everything is a problem.
The ceasefire agreement officially expires Tuesday night, and hospitals here are already stretched to the limit. So far, hundreds of people have died.
The number is much more than this, because some people are still missing inside, and it's hard to identify people when their faces were destroyed by an airstrike.
This is the last checkpoint controlled by Kurdish-led forces. Soldiers here say they believe Turkish-backed Syrian fighters are about 2 kilometers away, and they expect this point may be attacked as well soon. Reporting from the outskirts of Ras Al Ain in Syria, I'm Heather Murdoch, VOA News.
Now, with the advancement of digital technology, more and more people are finding options for their healthcare needs through online services and even telemedicine. To help us understand how this works, I'm joined in the studio by Emmanuel Opati, co-founder and CEO of Expert Care, a digital health company with a network of pediatric subspecialists who provide consultations. And via Skype from San Diego, California, Dr. Lisa Dieno, a board-certified pediatrician and medical director of Expert Care Pediatrics Digital Clinic. Emmanuel and Lisa, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you for having us.
So, Lisa, let me start with you. If you can explain to us how this works for families.
Sure. Expert Care Digital Clinic, I like to explain to my families, is kind of like FaceTime doctor's appointments. You go through the company's website, you select Digital Clinic, you are able to log in to set up an appointment, and at the appointed time, I'm logged on and the parent is logged on at the same time, and then we can talk just like I'm talking to you now via Skype. I can review the medical information provided by the parents. They can tell me their concerns. I can make recommendations, and then I send them a summary of the visit in their email.
Now, Lisa, what about a situation where maybe a parent or someone who is a caregiver to a little child is experiencing a problem? There's a child who is sick and they cannot adequately explain to a doctor online or via the phone what is going on with the child. How do you deal with a situation like that?
Certainly, certainly. There's a lot you can tell from children just by looking at them. I like to think, we can kind of maintain a conversational tone in the visit. Hopefully that will get them to relax. And, if it's still not working out, I would just tell the parent, if you're concerned, please take them to the closest emergency room or urgent care. Telemedicine is great, but it's not appropriate for every medical concern. There still is a place, and there still is definitely a need for that hands-on physician-patient interaction. So if a parent can't quite get it across telemedicine, I'll tell them no problem, just go to the closest emergency room.
Now, Emmanuel, turning to you, you're obviously, the brainchild of this online tech medicine and, everything digital here. But what is the impact so far? What have you seen? What is the feedback you're getting from families using online digital, clinic?
Thank you very much for having us, Esther. So one of the things we've realized with families, so think of a mother who has 3 kids and her husband is away, and one kid is sick. What do they typically do? They drag everybody to the ER, say it's 5 in the morning, because there's no option. And parents really appreciate the option to talk to, in this case, Dr. Lisa, a board-certified pediatrician, whether or not you actually need to drag even the normal kids to the ER and wait to see a doctor for 15 minutes. So what we are providing provides real value in terms of saving time and saving money, because you get hit by that emergency room bill after you go there.
So when you talk about the bill, actually, I'm just wondering, how do they pay online? How does it differ from the traditional way of going to the doctor? And, you get your charges for going to the doctor. You pay consultation, and probably you end up in pharmacy, and you have to pay for this medicine as well. How does that differ with this online digital clinic?
Good. So that's the other difference that we provide. So traditionally, you go to a doctor, you don't know how much you're going to pay, you're hit by the bill later. you pay online before you get the visit. It's very transparent. It's $125 for the first visit and $99 for any other visit. You will not be surprised by any bill after the visit.
Now, Lisa, let me turn back to you, and if you can give me some sort of feedback on what you're getting once you treat a patient online. What are the parents telling you?
The parents are telling me they really appreciate the convenience. They really appreciate just getting that feedback, that reassurance from a doctor. They really like, just like Emmanuel was saying, you know, I have multiple children. Do I really need to get all of these kids into the car to the emergency room because there's no appointments available in my clinic, where they sit for hours with other sick children or people waiting to be seen for something that could pretty easily be taken care of over FaceTime like I'm doing with you guys right now. You know, this rash, this symptom constellation, maybe I can give the parent a little bit of reassurance. And they really like that. They really like the convenience, especially with multiple children. And some of my patients are very, very complex. Heart conditions, things like that. The parent really likes not having to go and expose their child to other sick people just to get a question answered. They really like that.
Emmanuel, very quickly, what about Africa, where most people cannot access electricity? So can digital online medicine work, or telemedicine, or any of these services that you're offering?
Yeah, so we're not in Africa yet. Right now, we are focused on the U.S. But what we're building is we have actual doctors, like you can see Dr. Lisa. We have 65 of them in the network now. And we have a platform. So what we're trying to do with the platform is to make it compatible with places that don't have high-speed internet. We're trying also to, we're getting a CTO who will help us to do it for text messages for phones that are not smartphones. So we are on our way there. Right now, we are really tackling a big issue in the United States, but we'll be coming Africa.
Wow, Emmanuel, thank you very much. Thank you, both of you. Emmanuel Opati is a co-founder and CEO of Expert Care, and Dr. Lisa Dieno is a medical director of Expert Care Pediatrics Digital Clinic in San Diego, California.
Thank you, Esther.
Right, and that's our show for today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. From all of us here in Washington, have a very good evening.